I'm Jason Goliath,
And I'm Nicholas Goliath.
and this is a new podcast called The Happiness Economy, where we try and unpack, figure out, investigate, interrogate, I think holistically understand what is happiness even.
What is it to you? What is it to me? Is it different? Is it the same? What do you do to chase your happiness? Just chase it. We want to chat to people who we believe have found their happiness or are on the way to finding their happiness and find out what it is that makes them happy.
So, if you're happy, we're happy. The Happiness Economy with Nicholas and Jason Goliath. Tala what you must. Welcome to an episode of The Happiness Economy that I think is fair to say we have never been more excited in our lives. We can't believe he said yes. To create context for our guest, he is not only one of our best friends in stand-up comedy, I believe sincerely, and I'm looking into camera as I say this, that this is the funniest man to ever walk South African soil, born in this country. I've said it. This is the GOAT, in my opinion. He took us under his wing many years ago. He's been the most impactful comedian on any Goliath. You name a Goliath and you break our comedy down, you will see elements of our influencer, the OG influence, Mr. Mpho Popps, Modikoane.
I was actually gonna disagree with you and say not Kate, but
Kate.
But Kate has a her screen. What do you call this?
Screensaver.
Yes.
Her screensaver is a picture of me and Zoto Awabantu.
Yes.
So I agree now.
It is
said,
what it is.
yeah,
Kate has
Kate,
been
yeah,
raging against the machine.
Yeah, bruh.
The most controversial picture in Hit magazine history. Pops and Zodo. It is what it is. If you know, you know. Firstly,
Yo,
bruh,
thanks for that beautiful intro, my dog. Yes, yes.
dude, I think Nicholas will echo that I mean every word of it. Every word of it. So, welcome to the Happiness Economy. Bruh,
You weren't always thin.
Yeah, no, I know. This is definitely the happiness economy. Because
Yeah,
when we
very
met each other,
very.
none of us had these stomachs.
No,
Even Jay.
No,
even
I
Jay.
had Jay.
No, I was bigger than this when we met.
Yeah.
When we
Yeah,
met,
but that was more wider. This a happiness stomach comes this way.
100%,
That other
yeah.
one was.
No, the other one was because when your stomach goes like this, you fine. When your stomach goes like this, I see insulin in your future. I'm just saying. As somebody who's done the research, if your stomach is going this way, the doctor is like, fairy boom boom. But when your stomach is going this way, it's type 2. Type 2.
Nothing grows in the shade.
Rice down.
Oh, shame.
That was unnecessary.
No, but I have
no,
to
you
agree.
actually, you did this.
There's no way for it to grow.
No, you
'cause
made
there's
like it
shape.
grows like a toenail. Like it comes back. It comes after a certain length. It's like it comes back in. It
What's
comes
wrong? Hey, the stomach is
comes
blocking us.
Back in, bringing a whole new meaning to shave.
Oh.
If you know, you know. So,
yes.
the reason we do this podcast is essentially we've
Not
been
to roast
inviting,
Eric.
not to roast Eric, or to roast each other, Nicholas, because we're in the presence of a champion today.
Eric could use a bit of a roast.
Eric could use, but then it's like roasting a chicken breast. You just taste 6 gun.
Yeah.
And
it's
dryness.
dry inside.
Yeah.
Or baloney. Then
And-
you just burn the edges.
Okay.
Outline.
The reason we do this is simple, Pops. Essentially, we've been inviting people on who we perceive to be happy. I'm sure you've noticed, like, the world is obsessed with happiness. What is
Yes.
happiness? Why are we not happy? And then we were like, hey, can we figure this thing out? Because why is it so subjective? So we're inviting people on that because of our perception and what we perceive, and it's so interesting for us because there was a time where we saw you almost every day of our lives, and then as we all got busier, we now get to see you 2 or 3 times a year, but we watch vicariously. We see socials, we see the podcast, we see the marriage, we see the happiness, we see the fact that you seem to have you seem to be in the best phase you've ever been since we met you, and that's why I think it's so exciting for us to go through.
It's like the adult version of the Pops we met.
Yes,
Bruh,
Pop
nice.
season 2.
It's so beautiful.
Pop
bruh.
season 2. And I think it's very comforting that we've been through all of those. So essentially we chat about 3 things in our pursuit for happiness. The first thing we've acknowledged, I think, through the podcast is that happiness doesn't exist the way we think it exists.
No.
It only exists in the right now. It only exists in the moment. And we've been on a journey to kind of think about, is there something that we can think of every day and utilize in the moment to foster that happiness. And essentially, it's not about happily ever after, but are we able to live the happiest possible version of our lives? Are we able to get to that point? Where we start is, we believe one of the founding principles of happiness is gratitude. The ability to exist in a space of gratitude, the ability to be close to your gratitude, and I think more importantly, the ability to first be grateful. Wake up in the morning, first grateful for everything you have already, everything you've conquered already, everything you've achieved already, before the anxiety of all the things you haven't done yet kind of creeps in. What does gratitude mean to Mpho Popps?
Yo, man, gratitude is the reason why I'm here, bro. Because I think a lot of us want stuff all the time, right? I think that's the problem with the world. We're such a consumer-based,
More.
more. And the thing is with us, especially in our industry, right? If you're gonna make it in our industry, you have to do 10,000 things at a time, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you got to fire on all cylinders. You're doing this, you're
Yeah.
doing that, you do. And when you do
Especially
that,
here in South Africa.
yeah, especially in South
Yes,
Africa.
yeah,
In overseas, you can specialize in one thing. Here, you can't. Bro. That's the sad
Yeah.
truth, you know. Here, you must know how to act, present, MC, dance, edit. You know what I mean? You must know all these skills. So
And you have to do it all at the Champions League level.
yes, all of
Yeah.
it, right? So when you work like that, bruh, a lot of the times you keep your head down and you don't actually see the things that you're doing. You get told certain things. Oh, I loved your first episode of what. You're like, oh, that show's out already. You didn't even know.
100%.
That show.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because you just go.
Yes.
So I think gratitude for me is acknowledging all of that, because we tend to forget, bro. It's what month are we in now? October,
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
If I asked you to mention 5 things that you did that were amazing this year, you'd struggle. By the time you get to 3, you'd struggle.
So I would then go, hey, brother, this year, let me rather talk about this month. Even though we're only in the middle of
See?
October, I've done 5 amazing things to get here, is
Bro.
the truth.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you look at the year, you've done so many amazing things. So I think for me, gratitude is a reflection of like, yo, man, like I used to be at a different place in my life, bro. I used to, where I am today now might not be where I want to be, but yo, bro, it's far from where I was, bro.
Is it where you expect it to be, though? Because I think that's the big thing for me, is that I may not be where I want to be, but I'm also in a place I never expected to be, because comedy and the industry has guided me into a place that's, like I said, it's not the end goal, but it's a place where I'm happy to be because I'm on my way to where I want to be.
Yeah.
Type of
It's so I love that sentiment, but to clear it up, where you are now, would you have dreamt of being there 13 years ago? So when we all started this
that's
journey,
exactly what I'm saying.
would you have dreamt?
Yeah. So it's a place I never expected to be.
100%.
Go back 13 years to when I started comedy and ask me where do I see myself in 13 years. It's never sitting here.
Yeah.
Never sitting here in this moment with the crew that I'm with here. I would have never imagined myself here.
So that
To find myself here, I'm so grateful, because I could have been anywhere else.
Yeah.
Small decisions could have taken me anywhere in the world. Back to the corporate space, back to a day job where I don't want to be. Yet I get to sit down with my friends and talk about what makes us happy.
So today's Nicholas doesn't feel like he's won yet, because you're not kind of where you could be. But 2011's Nicholas feels like you've more than won.
Oh,
You've
ready to
exceeded
die.
your-
You've won
I can die
Champions
now.
League
Yeah.
And-
treble. You've made it, bro.
Before you jump in, I think it's very important to clarify. So Nick and I start comedy 3rd of July 2011. On that day, and I don't know if it's true for you, but I'd never seen or heard of Mpho Popps.
No.
And it was only because we went through a phase where we were watching comedy aggressively. Then we have the conversation. Then I stopped watching comedy for a while. Then we have the conversation about starting comedy. And I say to Nicholas, and we got 6 weeks. We better go to the underground every night for those 6 weeks. And for some reason, you weren't performing at the underground in those 6 weeks. So the first time I
The
ever...
lineups were so packed. We were going to have
100%.
to wait more than 2 months
Yes,
for our next spot. Yeah.
yes, but I'm saying Pops just wasn't even booked on that.
Yeah, in that time.
So then I'd never heard of Mpho Popps, right? The goats for me at the time are Vlismus was number 1.
Joey.
Gola, Davis, not Davis, Gola, Martin
Kibuka.
Jonas, Vittorio was a top dog at the
Was
time.
Eugene
Um,
around?
Eugene
those
was
times?
around.
Eugene was around, but he wasn't on at the underground a lot. Anyway, to fast forward the story, On the same day, Nick does the first two halves. They used to have an open spot in the beginning of each half. Nick does his first spot in the beginning of the show. Popps headlines the first half. I've told you this before, but I don't think you've let it sink in, because like you said just now, we allow ourselves to hear things, but we don't like take those things in. You just keep your head down and you keep going. So that is 3rd of July 2011. When I saw you, I'd never seen anything like that at the Underground. My mind had been blown by John Vlismus week in, week out, and John had this great trick in terms of his hosting, which we've all learned to do over the years, and it's still phenomenal when you watch John do it. But in terms of the type of comedy, but more importantly, in terms of the way the audience felt, I'd never experienced that in the Underground, because everybody's mind was just blown. Bruh, that set was so good that I always tell you, I can remember one of the jokes that you did in that set. And if you think about how nervous you are the first time you ever do comedy, you generally remember nothing from that night.
Yeah.
But I remember this guy coming out, destroying from the word go, and then making a joke about, how do you know a colored O has won the lotto? You see a Ferrari with the eagle mesh outside the club. Popps. That was I couldn't believe how hard I related. I couldn't believe, how does he even know this about us? What does he know about eagle mesh? That joke doesn't land for everybody. But if you know, it was one of the funniest. So then we see you there, and it is, like Nick said, such an honor and a privilege, and our gratitude comes from now we're sitting next to you as a peer, and you played a big role in that, in terms of getting us to that space. Do you remember that guy? Do you remember 2011? How long had you been doing comedy? Because you were already headlining at the Underground, which was the biggest nod anybody in the industry could receive at the time.
Yeah, no, I was doing comedy for 2 years at the time. I started my comedy journey June 8th, I think. June 8th, 2009. Yeah. So you know you're old.
Yeah.
15 years.
There's no 20 in Doha.
That's 15 years.
15.
15. Congratulations.
Before
chap.
Zakum in Doha.
Yeah.
Yes. Eric,
We
you was
didn't
Zakum.
even waka.
Yo, bruh. Yeah, and I remember that's when I started, and I remember the Underground, like you said, Nick, bruh, that place was the hardest place to get a spot, right?
Yeah.
But the Underground was like, that's where comedians went to go and be comedians.
100%.
Right?
And there was nothing better.
There was nothing better
No.
than the Underground.
No.
And
I almost want to say I don't think there's been anything better.
no.
It's like, and we've run some fire rooms, but the
No,
Underground.
The Underground, just to give people perspective, right? The Underground used to have a line outside.
Yeah.
And if those people didn't get in, they would have to sit at Cool Runnings.
Yes.
And have a good night, and then go, you know what, when we come next week, we're going to be early.
Yeah.
So you would see people who were there week in, week out, trying to get in. It was like a line at the late
was
night
30
show or
rand a
something.
ticket that
No, but
time,
also the show would start at 8. The line would start at 7.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, because you
Like
you-
a Home
because there was
Affairs,
limited space.
like a
Yeah, yeah.
Capitec line, bro.
Exactly.
So, and then it went from, there's people that are not going to get in.
Yes.
So now we're lining up to get a good seat. It's not even like they were lining up to possibly, eventually you had those that were proper. I remember guys like remember Farhan was a big fan of comedy before he became a comedian.
Yes.
And we met Farhan at the Underground during those times. And guys like Farhan, who were avid comedy fans, would literally be lining up for an hour before the show just to make sure they're going to get the seat they want in that room.
Ah, man. But, you know, when I look back to those moments, bro, did I have money? No. Was I at the best possible place in my comedy career? No. Did I even have enough material to have a one-man? No. But when I look back now, I go, yeah, but that guy was happy, bro. That guy was carefree. All that guy wanted to do was make people laugh, bro.
And that's all he did.
That's all he did. That guy didn't have these responsibilities. Didn't have to worry about paying salaries. He didn't have to worry about
SARS.
tax, man.
What did
He
that guy
didn't
know
have-
about
Bruh,
SARS? Nothing. Don't come for us.
That guy's mission was, I'm gonna get to the comedy club, and
Tell
I'm gonna
jokes.
rock this 15-minute set, and I'm gonna have the best night after that.
So we've spoken about us on that night, and I think both Nick and I can agree that a lot of our gratitude comes from the fact that we've got to remind ourselves that we've won already. In terms of what we were able to dream was possible at the time versus where we are now, our minds are blown. How do you feel in terms of where you were that night? You were already headlining. So if we go back to when you started headlining a half at the Underground, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think that, because right now I think it's fair to say you're the biggest act in the country, you're the biggest comedian in South Africa at the moment, by quite a margin. There are guys that are big in spaces, but you're big in all the spaces. You know what I mean? So there's guys that are big. They can go, look, ticket sales is on us. We got this covered. There's guys that can say, look, TV is on us. We got TV covered. There's guys that can say corporate MCing, corporate comedy. We got this covered. There's guys that can say podcasting and online. we got this covered. There's guys that can say, we are building the next generation of stand-up comedy. You've got that covered too. And I'm saying all these things because I know, as myself, we don't take time to stop and look around and pull the dipstick and have a look at where we are. So did that guy expect this?
No, bruh. That guy did not expect this at all, bruh. I think for me, and what a lot of these new acts don't realize, bruh, was the fact that we had a comedy hierarchy.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's sort of disappeared over the years,
Yeah.
but there was a comedy hierarchy.
I think we
speak
all to
about it
blame
often.
for breaking that
There was a
hierarchy.
comedy hierarchy. There was a comedy table as well,
Yes.
right? There was a Loiso Gol and them sit there.
Yeah.
We sit here.
Yes.
The day they say, hey, come here.
Yeah. If
Ah,
they
then you
invite
get
you.
to move
And it was
on.
generally Kags. Kags
yo.
was the nice guy that used to invite us in.
Your life was made, bruh.
Yeah.
But also, for you to get a spot at Cool Runnings, it took months.
Yeah.
Depending on how you did, you would get another spot
Yes.
in another month or so.
Yeah. Do you know
Depending
that
on how
Cool
you
Runnings
did.
closed down the week before we were supposed
Yeah.
to do our second spot? The week of, actually, the Wednesday.
No, bruh.
We waited
Yeah.
from the
9th
3rd
of August, I'll
July,
never forget.
3rd of July, we waited that month. And then the week that we were supposed to jump back on and do our second
Got
spot, messages to say, it's done.
But we got to do it.
Once,
And I think
yeah.
that this is so. Not only did we get to experience as a fan 10 years of the underground
Yeah.
before it closed down, but we at least got to do it because I know guys that the underground is an urban legend for them. They've
But
heard
you-
about it
so-
in the whispers in the wind, but they've never done
Back
it.
to the hierarchy.
Gents,
thing.
do you know what's crazy? I think on that I think John had asked me to MC, and then that message came through.
The same week.
Yes, that last
So
week.
you were gonna host our show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But we got
but it's better
I
that
remember
we-
being distraught because that was going to be my
The first time hosting
the underground.
Oh, now it makes me happy. Because I feel like you would have
Yo,
broken our
gents.
pluck that weekend. Because can I tell you, so I booked for the club for years. I booked the lineups. All the years the club ran, I did the lineups. And then there was a night that I watched you as a host. And I was like, fuck, man. I can't book this bra as a host anymore. Because you became... The acts became the break between the
ads.
Popps show.
They were ads.
Like I'd see the audience
Right,
disengage.
yeah.
And it happened once, and it's a huge compliment because I learned so much from that night, just in terms of the way you need to host, the way you need to manage, and the fact that you couldn't be contained. Like this, it's not that you did anything wrong; it's that the acts couldn't keep up with you. Then I was like, oh shit, this guy is the motherfucker.
So let me give context to what Nicholas is saying. The host has a very specific job on a lineup show.
Yes,
the host,
yes,
the
yes,
host's
yes.
job is to warm the audience up and to
keep them
essentially
engaged.
create the most conducive environment to do well. So the host is supposed to tee every single act up so that the actor has no excuse for failing in the room. We take that audience component out because the host has done his job. Then you get to a point where it's not over-hosting, but what Nick is saying is Popps was so good that in order for us to have him, we would have had to ask him to turn his light down, which is like the worst thing you can expect from any artist because the guy's so good it looks like on purpose. Like it looks like you are trying to be better than the headliner in every single link. Because then what Nick is saying is every now and then you're in the presence of an act where you go, oh, this is the guy. This is that.
Shit, man. Yo, thank you so much for that compliment, my dog.
No way.
Now I understand why I only got spots.
Yes, and it was to save the rest of it. So like when we leave the country, you left the country a lot of times
Yeah.
to go into the continent, right? So the continent has got some great comedians, but they suffer from what I think we're suffering with post-COVID. There's just not enough platforms, so there's just not enough clubs for them to practice
Yeah.
and get as good. And it's literally the same as you can be born with the most amazing running talent. If you don't have the training regime and the investment that Usain Bolt had, you're never going to be able to run at that pace. Pops makes South African comedians look like we don't have enough platforms during a time where we had plenty of platforms. So like that's just a shout out to your talent. Has that talent been kind of a blessing and a curse over your life? Because from my perspective, my talent created a kind of competition between my experience and audience's expectation. So mine a little bit different to yours because I was a little bit popular because I was doing ads before starting comedy. People thought they knew me and they thought that I'd been doing comedy already because they'd seen me on their TVs. In the meantime, I just started. So audience expectation was always a lot higher than what my experience allowed me to perform at. Did you ever have any of those kind of the curse of being over-talented compared to the environment that you're in?
I did, bro. And I think, you see, again, with us, a lot of people view anything that you do in entertainment as competition, right?
100%, which it's not.
Which it's not. I think also with us, our community is this tiny, bro.
Yes.
The comedy community is very small.
And it's the best community in all of the arts.
Yes.
It is the best, most inspiring, most we have your back.
Yeah, but what happens with that is a lot of people start seeing you as competition, and oh no, I don't want to put you here when this person's here. People start sort of pinning you against other people, right? This person, what, you got to watch out for this, what? Oh, you're the next this guy, you're the next this guy. And in all honesty, bro, like when I started doing stand-up, I did stand-up for me, right? Stand-up was always a thing for me. I didn't even know we get paid to do stand-up, bro.
Oh, man.
I used to go watch
My
stand-up
man.
and I thought, yo, I wanna
These
do
owns just
Yes.
get to go and
I
talk
just wanna
nonsense.
do
Yeah.
this,
Bruh,
I just
after
wanna
our
do
first time,
this.
it was we will pay to do this. Like
Yes.
a hobby, like you paid to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
go-karting, you paid to go bungee jumping. We would have paid for this
I
experience.
still pay to go and do the thing.
Bruh, the first person to put cash in my hand was David Kibuka. I didn't know what was going on. It felt like a drug deal. This old
Yeah,
shook
the
my hand,
handshake.
and I wanted to be like, yeah, you forgot something. I was like, 5 clipper cash.
Hey.
That's when it clicked. I was like, oh, you get paid for this.
What?
Yeah.
But by then, that was probably like my 6th or whatever gig that I'd been doing. You know what I mean?
You also say 6th gig like it was such a long wait. Do you know there are people who started with us in 2011 that still have not been paid? They
Yeah.
are still...
Still haven't done their sixth. Still on number 5.
But bruh, it does become a problem, especially not for other people, for yourself, right? Sometimes, and it's exactly what Jay's saying, right? Sometimes there's an expectation, right? And whenever there's an expectation, you don't get to be yourself,
Yeah.
right? I think one of the reasons why we love Dave Chappelle so much is because Dave Chappelle is Dave Chappelle.
24.
Whether you
24/7,
like it or
whether
not.
you like it or not. If Dave decides he wants to talk to the audience for an hour without telling any jokes, he's going to do that.
Yeah. While lighting
Right?
a cigarette in an
While lighting
unsmoking
a
venue. Yeah.
guy, well, you
'Cause
know
we
what I
got
mean?
your money.
But he's Dave.
Yeah.
He's just like, today I'm going to teach.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm going to do comedy. What happened with us, and I think which is why, and I'll use myself, you, and Donovan as like a
Case study.
case study.
Yeah.
We went through an era where we stopped growing because there was such an expectation.
Yes.
We'd climb on stage. You know how hard it is to get on stage to a standing ovation. And then
No, you have to be Chappelle.
and then, yeah.
You have to be Chappelle.
Now all you wanted to do that night was I'm gonna try these new jokes that I wrote. I'm gonna try have a bit of fun. And then you get there and people are screaming. They see you, they lose their mind. Now all of a sudden, what do? You default to greatest hits.
Yeah.
Because you're like, these
You
people
don't wanna
came
disappoint
to
them.
see the best version of me, so I need to give them the best version of me. Right? In that time, what you don't realize is you're actually taking away from yourself, bro. You're denying yourself the ability to grow because you are feeding people's expectations. You
I'm
are
so
feeding your
guilty.
ego. You don't want people to see you at your most vulnerable place. Now, as old timers in comedy, we're enjoying comedy more because now we don't care.
Yeah.
Now we understand that if I fail on stage, that's funny. If I succeed on stage, that's also funny. David Kibuka told us a story about when he wanted to quit comedy.
Yeah.
Because he's in New York with Trevor
Yeah.
at the time. And he went and he did this gig and he died so badly. Like one of the worst deaths he's ever had.
Dave is good at dying. I
Right?
mean, he's good at killing. But you want to see somebody that dies in special places? Let me introduce you to my friend David Kibuka.
David Kibuka was like, that was the most special death he's ever had, to the point where he wanted to quit comedy. But he was booked for another gig. So in him wanting to quit, he had to quit after this gig. Do you know what I mean? So when he got to this gig, he was just like, already he's coming from that death and the weight of that death. When he gets to this gig, he's like, you know what? I'm not even going to do what I was meant to do. I'm just going to tell these people about the death that I had. And in doing that, he destroyed. He killed.
The
bruh.
vulnerability.
The
He
drug
ki-
goes back
but-
in.
By telling these people how bad this thing was, he absolutely destroyed. And then he realized, that's comedy, bruh. Whether you do well or not, it's comedy.
Yeah.
And we only get better with time, bruh. Comedy is like wine. You know, Joe Parker said it to me the one time. He's like, do you realize there's no retirement plan in comedy?
Yeah.
You are a comedian forever.
You want to make them
Until-
laugh till you
until-
die.
Yeah.
So
Till you die.
like the second part of our happiness journey and understanding is the acceptance part, because we believe that if you don't accept yourself, accept who you are, where you are, what you are, how you are, you can't find the happiness. So then
No, bruh.
that
The
same
funnier you
thing-
are, is the more honest you are, the funnier you are.
No, but that's exactly what I'm saying. So it's
The
it's
honesty
the
means you're
death,
accepting.
the acceptance of the death, the acceptance of
The death of the ego, bruh.
yes,
Death of the ego. There's no cool on stage, bruh.
Mm.
You can't, just because people know you and you're famous, and you can't get on stage and be like, yeah, you know,
yeah.
In comedy, and that's what I do when I do stand up. I embody whoever I'm talking about, whatever character I'm doing,
Yes.
because I'm not there to be cool.
No.
Yes, you might know me from this, and you're on stage, yeah. But for now, if I'm
We are
gonna be
telling
Eric
jokes
Jensen,
here.
I am Eric Jensen.
Yeah.
Look,
Do you know what I mean? If I
Your-
need to put Plascon on
no, but
myself,
your
to be
commitment,
Eric
on
Jensen.
stage is a case study in itself. So your commitment to the characters, your commitment to the physicality.
Because you must kill the ego, bruh. You can't be Jason Goliath doing a character.
And-
You must
and
be Eric Jensen.
That I can
full
accept.
white.
I can accept that when it comes to
SPF 5,000.
5,000 and one. That's the size of my Levi's. It,
Two Volkswagens pulling there.
but Pops, if we take it off stage, I think look, you underestimate how much of a mentor you've been and how you spoke stuff that even then you didn't understand. One of the best lessons of acceptance that I got in my life was we host at the box Hassan Minaj, name dropper, who had come to South Africa as part of a show with MTV or whoever it was, and Comedy Central to spot
Bill Gates
Louis
Foundation.
Sogola.
Yes.
They come to spot Louis Sogola. We put you on the same lineup. Minaj performs. Gola does what Gola does. Just excellence on every level of the comedy game. Pops does so well. They take Pops with them to the States. So they spot you here. They don't come for you. That they spot you. They make some calls, and instead of just taking one South African back to the States, they take two. I don't want to talk about that trip, other than the fact that when you came back, I don't know if you remember this. I said to you, "So do you want to go?" And you said, "Absolutely not." I said, "Why?" You said, "Bra, you don't realize how lucky we are here." I said, "What does that mean?" You said, "Bra, there are thousands of Jasons and thousands of Pops in the US. To get noticed, you literally," and your words were, "you literally have to be doing backflips
yeah.
onto the stage to get noticed. We're here, it's so easy to get noticed, and then you just have to get good at the thing and commit and your path in." So part of that acceptance is you accepting what the beast is in the States, you being able to accept what South Africa is, what you are in the context of South Africa, and accepting that you don't need, because I think all of us at some point were pressured into taking Trevor's route. Your realization that this is not in Trevor's time, the world is different, was even then very different.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yo, man, I think the wake-up call for me was going to America and realizing in LA alone, there's like 80,000 registered comedians. Registered, bro.
Yes.
Registered.
Because they have
as
to
in-
register.
Yes.
That is probably There's probably
have
800
80,000
on the continent of Africa.
So
There's
I was
800.
going to give you guys context. Comics Choice Awards gets about 400 to 500
Entrance.
At the time when comedy was booming.
yes, even less at the time. I'm talking about recently.
Now,
but
recently.
now,
Because now everybody, since COVID, everyone came out
Yeah,
after
so
making their videos.
so what? 500 comedians here
Max.
max, right? That side in LA,
One city.
one city. That's how much. That's how much you got. At the time, this is before now and social media and all these things. At the time when I met with Hassan and his team and his guys and his friends and his crew, those guys were shooting content. They were working as writers on these shows. They were doing all these
hustling.
things, hustling, working at the door at a comedy store, just to hopefully
be
get a
part of the
5-minute
thing,
set, right? So these guys, and when I looked at us at the time, we were playing PlayStation during the week
Yeah.
because we knew I only have to do 10 minutes tonight.
We used
at
to
thingy.
attend Trevor Gumdi. Trevor Gumdi used to have a fun employment bride. You remember that?
We used to go to fun
We used
employment
to say we're
bride,
fun employed.
and then we know we go and perform.
Yeah.
You know, you knew you were making about 5 clipper a set, and if you did, because that's also how I quit my job, bro. I quit my job because I think at the time I was earning like $6,500 a month,
What was the job?
and I was processing insurance claims at Santam.
Fantastic.
He had 44 Stanley, and my salary every month was $6,500. But I was at the point where I was starting to get paid for club gigs, right?
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
standard fee at the time was about 5
Yeah.
clipper. But because there was so much comedy and so many rooms at the time,
And
that's
there weren't many
a 5 clip
headliners
on
at
a
that time.
Monday, a 5 clip on a Wednesday. You do a Parker's run, you count. Plus Joe would pay you 2K for the weekend. So at some point I was like, and that was before corporate or whatever. At some point I was like, just by me going and doing 10-minute, 5-minute slots,
I'm earning my salary.
I'm making my salary every month.
Yeah.
And that's when I said to myself, I got to make a decision here. Because if I really want to do this thing, this is at me starting, at me at a base level, I'm matching my salary. What does Popps look like when he actually takes the comedy thing seriously? Right? And that's what also clicked when I was overseas. I said, bro, what these guys are doing just to get noticed is insane. We're not doing as much,
No.
and we're getting there.
100%.
What if we full throttled this thing? And I think that's the mentality I came back with, and I went, we have an opportunity to do great things here. And I've always carried that weight to say, yes, it's great to go out and become successful overseas. I encourage everybody to go and do that, because South Africans notice you even more
Yes.
when you make it
Yeah,
overseas.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But for an industry that's this big, we have a responsibility. And it's another thing you guys did as well.
Yeah.
As these new comics, you decided to put the whole industry on your back and go and build the most beautiful comedy club this country has ever seen, bro. Every single international act that came here was blown away by what you guys had built, right?
We'd like to think it was one of the best in the world.
And it wasn't an
That
ego
was the
thing.
ambition. No.
It wasn't an ego thing. You
What the
built
industry deserved.
it's what the industry.
Yeah.
That was you were paying homage to comedy,
100%.
because you're like, let me create a stage for comedians to become superstars.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at now, and that's my mentality now. It's like, guys, we have a responsibility. We have a big responsibility to create what David and Kagiso and Loiso and Kibuka and Trevor and Eugene did was phase 2 of comedy.
Yeah.
There was the first phase, which were the founding fathers. Then there was phase 2. Phase 3 is us, bro.
Yeah.
Phase 3 is us.
I
And
think phase 3 was us. I think phase 4 is what you're starting now. So I think phase 3 was us. The 10 years of Goliath and Goliath running gigs, the 10 years of Goliath and Goliath changing and I think building on what John had built during phase 2 that you speak about. Before we lose it though, I think it's just so important that, because when we speak about these things, even we feel the pressure of, if you understand something, the change must be immediate. You came back from the States more than 10 years ago. And if you came back from the States more than 10 years ago, you quit your job 12 years ago. And if you had the thoughts about, imagine if I put my all into it, what I could achieve 12 years ago. Bryce, your friend, I want to tell you that you only started putting your all in 2 years ago.
yeah,
2 years ago, because I'm your friend.
yeah.
And that's okay. Is because there was also dealing with a whole lot of life.
There was a whole lot of life thing, but also it was easy.
So tell me about, because you acknowledge it and you know that I'm not coming at you when I say, only now do I see you putting all of you in it, because you seem to have fixed a lot of stuff.
I had to.
What did you have to fix? What did you learn?
Yo, bro, I had to fix me. I think a lot of the times as comedians, what we do is we take advantage of the lifestyle of comedy. You know, comedy's a party, bro.
It'll suck you in.
Always.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
Comedy's a party. You go to Goliath, you perform, you know that upstairs is Jaeger bomb time, papa.
That was my name.
Jason is coming out with 4 trays of Jonga bombs. It's going down.
Jonga Popps. Facts.
But innocently so, it's a celebration. Because what we manage to achieve every night on that stage is pure magic.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's pure magic. So we celebrate our victories every day, right? That's what we do in comedy. We go, you gig, celebrate your victory. But what you don't realize is you're growing, right? You're growing. All while you're doing this, you're becoming a father, you're becoming a husband, you're becoming responsible for other people and other people's lives. But you still haven't dealt with things like ego and this and that and all of these things. So there's this internal battle that's happening with you, right? And you're just kind of like soldiering through and using comedy as your therapy. So for years, I used the stage as my therapy.
Yeah.
So for years, I wouldn't face what I was going through or how I was feeling. I would rather go stage, destroy, feel bad about myself,
Tell you by yourself.
and then get hammered.
Robbie made a comment on this couch where he said, very similar to that stage, because I think a lot of comedians relate to that. He said, I realized that the stage was my therapy, but I realized that I was only speaking about my problems up until the punchline. Then I stopped dealing with my problems. So I used the stage as therapy to deal with a lot of things that I was going through in life, but there was never resolution. There was punchlines.
Yeah.
I only dealt with my problems up until the punchline.
Yeah. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it became real.
No more punchlines.
No more punchlines. Just
You
problems.
and your
There was
problem.
nothing funny. There was nothing funny.
No, bruh. But I think at the time you also get taken by the lifestyle, right? You're always out, you're always partying, you're always drinking. There's always attention. There's female attention.
Yes. It's also, these things are easy. It's not like you're waking up in the morning thinking about, where can I go drink tonight? No. You go to work and end up somewhere. Like, it's very easy.
Very easy.
It's not like, it's very easy.
Very easy, right? And then you get distracted, bruh. And then, as cliche as it sounds, you lose yourself, bruh. You don't realize that you've put yourself in this weird, I'm going to use the stage to deal with my problem, then I'm going to try drink away my problems after the stage, then I'm going to end up catching up to nonsense because I didn't even anticipate where I was going to end up.
Because now I'm drunk and I'm not thinking straight.
Yes.
So
Popps
now we're just having nice time.
Drove my rental Polo because I was not in a condition to drive. After a show one night, Popps drove my rental Polo. After I said, Popps, it's a dead end. He said, no, it's not. There was a ledge, maybe a little bit higher than this table. Popps drove. There was a road at the bottom of that ledge, but there was a dead end and a clear dead end. Popps was like, no, man, it's a rental. Drove my rental off.
We were airborne. We were airborne.
To his credit, 2 days later, when I got the invoice from Europcar, I forwarded Popps the invoice. I didn't even open it. Popps didn't even reply to my message. He just paid. He didn't even reply to my message. I just said, hey, bro, this is what happened. This is the invoice. Because I never forget, the next morning it was raining. They couldn't see the damage on the car. We thought we got away with it. But those things, you end up there. We didn't leave. We just had a good show.
Bruh.
And then,
Kagiso would call it rock and roll.
hey, rock and roll.
Bruh, in our era, we were rock and roll. Like proper rock and roll. Yay! Nicholas! The fact that we survived till this moment.
No, God loves us the
about
most.
it often.
Yeah, bruh.
But I believe it's because we spread happiness in the world. That's what we do. The world
We
needs
do,
us.
but
also our luck is running out.
Yes.
And has run out. You have to grow up. That's why I was saying it's so nice.
That's where I got to. I got to a point where I said, I can't keep testing God like this, bruh.
Yeah.
I pushed it as far as any human could push it, bruh. The fact that I survived up until this point without hurting myself, without having children outside, without damaging my reputation to the point where I can never work in South Africa again.
Yes.
Bro, I can't believe, I survived.
Pops, there's normally an impact. So there's normally either you've lost a big job or you've gone bankrupt or the momentum has stopped. I'm telling you, especially with people that are naturally talented like you, when you look back, most of those people thought that good times will last forever. You made changes not because you were broke. I know you, and I watch your work. I know when you're busy and when you're not busy. You made changes during the busy, which is not a normal thing. How do you get to? Because I think a lot of people use that as the excuse, like, things are going well. So what's up with Pops? Because it looked like things were going well.
I hit rock bottom.
What did that
But
look
that's the
like?
thing,
What
is
was
that-
rock bottom?
So it's that perspective thing. So the third thing is perspective. And how what it looks like is not always what it is. So just because someone's happy, busy
Yes.
and making money doesn't
100%.
necessarily mean they're happy.
But
Absolutely.
happiness is also learning, like, along the way that money doesn't make you happy. And I think that's the worst thing to learn.
Isn't it naring?
Yo, after
It's naring.
after everything
Damn
you
it.
did
All the things you
Damn
can buy.
it.
achieve
All-
you,
Yes.
you have no happiness in you. Mandela, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah!
There are so many of you here. Say
Damn it.
something.
Surrounding me.
Hug me.
Say something.
Make me feel good, Matiba. Make me feel good.
Now you're folding the money to make us smile. Look, he's happy. He's happy.
Yeah, bruh. That is the worst realization you can ever come to, is realizing. Because you come from broke, and broke is a long distance. But you are
is hard
traveling that
also.
road. You get to money, and it's the same. You are happy for the first 2 days. After that, it's just like, we're the same guy who walked from there to here.
Yeah. Just we're walking in
Damn
better
it.
shoes now.
Now, we just have better shoes and air conditioning.
But the same
Damn it.
problems.
So what puts its foot on your neck to
So-
make you go enough?
So I think what happened for me, right, is when I say I hit rock bottom, I think I started realizing that I can't keep lying to myself. I can't keep masking all these things that I have to deal with by using the stage as therapy. And I think one of the things that became a great realization for Robbie Collins, because Robbie's I used to call him like a comedy addict. Robbie needed to be on stage every day.
night.
Yeah.
Every night. Whether it was paying or not, Robbie was on stage.
And if he wasn't on
Two
stage, he was
tequilas.
next to the stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a
Drinking
Hansa
that
Pilsner.
tequila. Yeah.
Yeah. And
With no driver's license.
no driver's license.
Yeah.
And big hands. And
A big hand. Always in the
You
stadium.
know Robbie's poster.
10 gladiators.
Did you see Robbie's poster?
No gloves.
I sent him a message, a screenshot of his poster. Then I was like, because he's got a thing, the hands over his face. Then I was like, hey, bruh, just a question.
Who's
Did
behind
you
that dance?
increase the size of your hands for comedic effect? Or is it just,
No,
just
for
the size of your hands?
For real.
Then he was like, no, just...
No,
just
go,
the
and
size,
if you
'cause
need
it
context,
look-
go watch the Robbie episode. People have commented this should have been sponsored by Escort Russians because it's a pack of Russians. His one hand is a pack. No, for real. For real.
He felt it.
For real. It's for real.
Imagine Robbie does this to you. Yeah, your hairline will go back. But what
That's what he did to Q. He took Q with one.
Wow. Wow. Robbie cuts his fingernails with that paper guillotine. Remember in the staff room?
never been with Robbie when he
to
cuts
make
his
A4
nails.
to A5.
You just hear the nails.
Pulling it out of wall.
He keeps telling us he got stabbed in Bramfontein.
Pedicure.
That's nailed it.
Like,
Go watch Robbie's
We
episode,
make
it's
we make the jokes. I
No,
can
but-
tell you when you eat rock bottom.
But it was look, for Rob, that was his thing, right? For me, I think I hid behind my success. I hid behind everything, bruh. And I always felt justified to do the things that I did because I was just like, bruh, like I go through long periods where I just work, whatever.
I work hard and I'm a good person.
I work hard, I'm a good person, so I'm gonna go. And my therapist called it feeding the monkey. It was like, you can be a good person and behave for as long as you want. But you know, like the chicken licking monkey, it keeps growing. And then one day, out of nowhere, bruh, you go, I'm done. I'm gonna purge. And I think that's what I used to do. I used to purge a lot, bruh. And
Was rock bottom at the same time where you were during COVID, everybody was trying different things. We were trying to make the social media things. And you started the series where you were just telling our jokes. This is Jason Goliath's joke. I remember that. Then I was like, this looks like rock bottom.
That definitely was rock bottom.
In a lapa.
And I'll tell you, I was in my lapa, just doing other
You
people.
can hit rock bottom in your own lapa. That's a nice rock
When
bottom.
I played CSA and I put black cardboard in front of
it was
my
great
teeth. No, but that was rock bottom because I was like, I have no more outlets, bruh. And I think the greatest, or not the greatest, but the hardest thing to hit at that time, and I mean no disrespect to anyone,
Yes.
right? I mean absolutely no disrespect to anyone. There's nothing worse than realizing that your world is coming to an end as you know it, and you're not with the right person. I think that's where I hit total rock bottom, right? And it's just like, my world's coming to an end. Everything that I used to identify with and as is gone. When COVID hit, bro, I was supposed to record a Netflix special.
Yes.
That was gone. Do you know, we thought this thing was 2 weeks, whatever. I remember that Netflix thing popping up in my calendar 3 months later.
Yeah.
And you're still
And
in
when
the
it
house.
hit, I was just like, my life was going to be somewhere else.
It's also just for context for those of you watching. A Netflix special at the time was paying 10 times more than a Showmax special. I can guarantee you, I don't know what the numbers were, but I can guarantee you that was the biggest check of his life that
Yeah.
popped up in his diary.
Yeah, and that's gone. As you know it, that is gone. So you're no longer doing the thing that you identify as. You're sitting still at home. We don't sit still, bro.
No.
Yeah. Still means
We
nothing's happening.
don't. We
Because then we have to be with ourselves.
yes. It's the first time we had to be with ourselves, and also realizing that, hey man, I don't think I'm where I'm meant to be. And then afterwards, I think when I started realizing those things, I started having to make life-altering decisions.
So when you say where you meant to be, talking about mentally, emotionally.
Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and
Physically.
Yeah.
right? And I remember I broke up with my then girlfriend after a couple of months, and even then, it's not like I broke up with someone that didn't mean anything to me. This person meant a great deal to me, but I just had to be honest to myself, right, about where I wanted to be in my life. And I think with everything that was happening, triggered by that heartbreak, because it's still heartbreaking, bro. I was devastated, bro. And work started picking up again. Things started, but I was just miserable, bro. I couldn't perform. I couldn't do nothing, bro. I couldn't even pretend. You know, there's this phase. I don't know if you've gone through it, Jay, where you know you're not in a great space, but you know I'm only needed for 40 minutes.
So you switch it on.
And for 40 minutes, I can
Switch
switch it on and
Leave
come
your
back.
problems next to the stage.
At some point, I couldn't even switch it on, bro. And yeah, I realized that I was broken. Like I was on the inside, I was broken, bro. Nothing was working anymore. And I think that's when I started like, and I spoke about this to Mac and Soul. I was like, it's not that you're suicidal, but you don't care what happens to you. You're just like,
Your need to live is different.
yeah,
And also, it's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't lived a life that we've lived. I often have to explain to people that the consequence of our life is we will generally have in 1 year more experiences than our best friends outside of the industry will have in their whole lives.
exactly.
And you're not supposed to have so much. So a lot of people at the end of their lives are scared of dying because of the question mark of the things they haven't done yet. We live every day where we've done more than we could have. We spoke about it earlier. We've done more than we could have ever imagined already.
Exactly.
So then when that depression starts to set in, it's something I understand intimately. It's not that you want to die. Like you almost feel like you're hard to explain it to somebody because you're going,
But it's
I'm
okay.
not suicidal. It's not morbid. But yeah, if I die,
I die.
I
It is what it
die,
I've
is.
yeah.
done things, man.
But also in the background of that, you're also living in such a risky way
Yes.
because of that.
You
right?
are on the red line all the
you're,
time.
You actually are trying to kill
Tempting.
yourself,
Yeah.
but in other ways.
Yes.
You're trying to drink yourself broken.
Yeah.
You're abusing substances. You're sleeping around. You're being reckless. You're driving drunk, bro.
Yeah.
You're speeding. You're doing all these things because you're just like, whatever happens, I actually don't care, right?
Yeah.
And I think when I reached that point, I was just like, I have to fix this. And the thing is, sometimes you think, if I display how broken I am, everyone will be like, hey, you broken.
You need help.
No, people are like, yo, we need you next week. Oh, we're
Yeah.
doing this.
They
Hey,
you
they
find
pretend it doesn't
hey,
exist.
sober up.
Do you find that they're surprised by your
No.
the reality of who you? No, like when you're feeling down, because I often find
Oh, when you're feeling down.
when you're feeling down, people
Yes.
are like,
They think you're
"Come on,
joking."
man, snap out of
Yes.
it. You're
They
gonna
think
be,
you're joking.
They think, yeah.
you're gonna be okay. What's wrong with you today? Kind of.
When you admit and you say, I'm going through this, what, the people who love you, the people around you go, thank you for finally admitting it. Because that's what happened to me.
But those are the people
everyone-
that love you.
But everyone else, when
Yeah.
you tell them this is what I was going through, they're like, how? You were busy there. You were doing this. You were, how, bro? Make it make sense. Bro, when I went in, I had to say no to like good checks.
Went in where? Because
To
tell the
rehabilitation.
people.
Yeah.
So I decided to check myself into rehab. Yeah, right? Because I was like, I can't live like this anymore, bro. I'm broken and I don't know, with depression, it's like, you know when you go to bed like sore and then you wake up the next day and you feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then, like you know, we're old now, so we have like
Yeah.
3-4 day hangovers.
Yes.
You know, the first 2 days are bad, but you know by the third day it's getting better. By the fourth day you like
Back in the game.
fifth day we're
Drinking
back.
again.
Yes. With depression, it felt like every day I woke up felt worse, bro. I woke up every day feeling worse, mentally, physically even. And I couldn't anymore, bro. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to check myself into rehab. Spoke to my family, told them, this is what I'm doing. Everyone supported it. Everyone supported. I got letters of motivation from my family, from my doctor. And I went, bro. And I checked myself. I went to a rehabilitation center. Like, this is one of the best rehabs in the world. I also did my research, right? I wanted to do it properly.
100%.
So I went to a place called White River Manor. And at the time, I was just like, I'm going to go for 2 weeks. But then once I spoke to the staff, once we met, they suggested that I do the full 30-day treatment, the full month. And when I was there, bro, I fully committed to getting better. So I went in, and it's like turning yourself into prison, bro. You know?
Yeah.
You land in Nelspruit, you get picked up by this blacked out V-Class, bro. You don't know what's happening. It's just you and the driver in the car. You get taken in. As soon as you get in, they take your bags. They open everything. They're searching you. So you're just like, what is going on, bro? Because you're also being vulnerable. You're going, I'm handing my life over to you
100%.
guys because I need to get better.
Yeah. And I
You
don't know
get
how
there,
to do it on my own.
Yes, I don't know how to do it on my own. You're getting there, you're getting frisked, you're getting searched, But I tell you this, gents, those first 2 days, because I also struggle with sleep, but those first 2 days, I've never slept like that in my life, bro. It's probably the best sleep I've ever gotten in my life. But when I was there, I fully committed to doing everything to make myself better. So we had individual therapy, we had group therapy, we had all these different things, that every single type of therapy and activity that you can do, I did it all, bruh. Because it's like, it's 30 days of my life, you know?
To change the rest of your life.
To change the rest of my life.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
30 days of my life. You know, it's very expensive to go to White River. There's a reason why I think the 6th best facility in the world. I might be mistaken, but yeah,
They're up there.
They up
Yeah.
there. They
Best in
really
the
up there.
country.
Like, they're very international as well. Like, most of the people that were there were internationals who had flown in for treatment. But I fully committed, and I think what that allowed me to do, those 30 days, what you don't realize is that we're always on.
Yeah.
You're always working.
Yeah.
For 30 days, I got to be me again. No one in that facility recognized me.
And they don't care about your
And
jokes.
they
They're
don't
all
care.
there on their own mission.
I became me again for the first time.
Yeah.
And I realized you was actually not being me.
Because I'm top.
Yeah. Just me, bruh. Not the act, not the guy on the, just
Yeah.
me,
Don't need to pretend
dog.
for anybody,
I don't need to
for the
pretend for
brass,
no
for the
one.
family.
I don't need to dress up. I don't need, just me, bro. And I remember I was like, this is something I want to hold on to. And even in there, I started realizing that there's certain things I actually enjoy doing outside of the world that I'd created for myself.
Yeah.
Going out, partying, drinking, doing this or what. I actually, because besides therapy, you also get to do activity. You get to go hiking. You get to do all these skydiving, all these, adventurous things, just to sort of get your mind used to the fact that you can have other hobbies outside of what you do, right? And when I left there, I remember I was like, you know what? For the next 3 months, I'm going to maintain and keep myself clean and gym and exercise and whatever. And then I just kept moving that goalpost. I said 3 months, I said 6 months, I said another month.
Yeah.
And as I sit with you guys now, I'm almost 3 years sober and clean. Yeah. 3 years sober, clean. My dogs.
Can I just say, like, that thing you were talking about, skydiving and hiking, and, that thing blows my mind so much, because we know so many people who go, yo, I don't do those things. Skydiving, that's white people's things. Hiking, that's rich people's things. All these things that we don't do because they for other people. Then I go, you don't like these things, but you've never tried.
You've never tried them.
You have no idea whether you're going to like it
You've
or
also
not.
never given yourself an opportunity to like things.
Yeah, so you're going in with a mindset already of,
That's
I
not
don't
for
like
me.
this thing, it's not for me. Then
Yes.
you're never going to enjoy the
Because
thing.
someone told you it's for white people.
Yes.
But not all of us got to take the 30 days to even discover who's me.
So, but that's
Yes.
exactly my point, is
Yeah.
that, so we get caught in this lifestyle, the cycle of we party on the weekend, we work during the week so that we can make money to party on the weekend. And it's just a cycle. And whenever someone goes, so I used to find it with my bras, where you go, hey, gents, let's hit a hike this weekend. The Owens laugh at you. So you get to a point where you don't even bring it up anymore. It becomes a thing that you now go, I hate this thing. I also don't hike. I
Yeah.
also don't do whatever.
Bruh.
And just opening yourself up is...
I think it's impossible to open yourself up until you've got to know you, until you've got to accept you.
Yeah.
And it's also impossible to open yourself up for somebody else. It's got to be for you. And I think that that's exactly what you're saying. And this one is extra special for me, Pops, because firstly, I mean, I hope you know how much I love you, my brother.
Hey, man, I love you more.
And I've always felt that from you, and I've also always felt from you that you want me to do well, and I hope you felt that from me, that I want you to win. And that journey has been the most inspiring thing that's happened to me, your journey, over the last 5 years. I wish that my wife was here so that you could ask her how many times I say, I want to jump on my exercise bike because I see what Pops is doing. Part of my acceptance journey was knowing that I'm a greyhound. I'm incredible, but if there's no rabbit to chase, hey, I can be lazy. Like, I can be lazy, I don't think hard. And in many ways, you've always been the rabbit. You've always been somebody that is blitzing it whether we like it or not. And because even on your bad days, you're so talented that even on your lowest times, as you've said, it's not like work was stopping. You had to make a decision for you.
Yeah.
But when I saw the transformation, it is something that has been so inspiring for me, because from the outside, it looks like that process made you stop and put your life into the important columns and go, what do I want Pops to look like at home? I've never seen you and Latoya this happy.
Yeah.
I've never seen her look at you the way she looks at you now. We were on stage together the other day, and she showed up, and I saw you leaning with excitement, and I sasaw her leaning with the same excitement. I know it's excitement when I get greeted by mistake. Oh, you also there? Hi. you know what I mean. Comedy-wise, I think that you are in an exemplary space, and in industry-wise, entertainment-wise. But I also feel like it's that thing of, I read a meme that said, yeah, what I really need from us is for me to make sure that I'm good for you, and for you to make sure that you're good for me. And when I say good, I mean it's me taking care of me making sure that I'm okay, me making sure that I'm so okay that I make you okay.
Yes.
Not the other way around.
Jason, if your happiness is important to me, then I have to make myself happy. Right? And it's that simple.
Say that again, please.
If your happiness is important to me, I have to make myself happy first. That's exactly how it works.
Bruh, I
right?
wish we had.
You have to take that responsibility. Nobody can do that for you. Nobody can
Yes.
check you into a rehab, whether it's for drugs, for depression, for whatever. No, you have to make the decision yourself.
Bro, we as entrepreneurs, we always say this thing of like invest in yourself. And what do we think when we
We
say
don't
invest
get
in
it for too
we
long.
think, let me buy some mics, let me buy
Yeah.
some cameras, let me hire Eric as a light. You don't think that the best investment that you can make in yourself is
Mentally and emotionally.
Yes. So So
and
when,
physically.
so me going to White River, I only realized afterward because again I'll say it right. It was hella expensive, right? And I remember I was trying to justify it to my manager at the time. I was like, "Bruh, did we really spend this much money?" And he's like, "This is the best investment you could have ever made in yourself."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yeah, I could have done it cheaper somewhere else." He's like, "No. This was the best investment you could have ever done." Till this day, when I look back at everything I've ever done, taking that time to fix myself, to be by myself, that was probably the best investment I could have ever made because it allowed me to do what Jay's talking about. It allowed me to categorize my life and go, what does this guy look like? What does this guy look like? What does this guy look like? And what does this guy need? And in order for this guy to be happy, he will then be able to make everyone else happy. I got to a point where I was just making everyone happy except myself, and I almost imploded, bro.
Kibuka once said to me, because Kibuka's an economist, and he always advises a lot of his friends on where they should invest their money. And he said, Trevor called him one day and said, "Okay, bro, I've just cashed out. Thank you for that last piece of advice. What must I invest in now?" And he said, Kibuka said, I said to him, "Oh, the best performing stock for the next 5 years is going to be Trevor Noah. Invest in you, because if you put your money anywhere else, you're not going to see as nice a return as you're going to see investing in you." And I feel like that same sentence applied. The best investment Pops could have made at the time, it doesn't matter where you would have put that money, there's no return like the return that 30 days has given you.
Yes.
Yeah, because you've got a lifetime of returns now.
Bruh.
We have
Oh,
to
man. Yeah, we have to wrap.
we have to wrap it up. 3 quick questions, my brother.
Yes, sir.
We need another episode with
We
you.
definitely do. We definitely do. Because I need to tell you about my journey now.
No, and this is
No, because
And-
you're the
and
podcast.
Jim,
You're
and
the podcast.
Jim, bruh.
no. So you've that's been the inspiration, is me seeing you looking after your mind. The inspiration for me has been, if I want to achieve all of these things, the machine needs to be good.
The
So
machine needs to be good, but I had a surgery that forced me to stop gymming for like 10 weeks. And then I also realized I was also relying on the gym as a form of therapy.
shit.
And when I couldn't do that, then all of a sudden,
You allowed
you have
yourself to
hit
go,
the
"Oh, I'm
speed
fucked again,
wobble."
I'm fucked again."
then I was in the speed wobble again because I was like, that was the balance.
I can't believe we wasted half the time, Guara and Eric.
Nah,
We should
nah.
have been focusing on
Eric, don't come back, man.
So
Is he gone?
gratitude,
lights off.
acceptance, perspective. We believe that every day, if you're feeling a little bit low,
Yeah.
and there's a gap, fill the gap. Gratitude, acceptance, perspective, GAP. We do the Goliath Happiness Index, rate on 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being couldn't be better. Where's Pops when it comes to gratitude, 1 to 5?
Gratitude, I am at number 5, bro.
Yeah.
Gratitude has taught me how to pray. I think a lot of people don't want to fully admit it, but when you when you have to, like, when you're at rock bottom, the only thing you do is you go on your knees and you pray,
Yeah.
right? But sometimes it's like stage, bruh. If you don't know what to say, you choke.
Yeah.
So I realized in my spiritual journey even that I used to struggle to pray. I really used to struggle to pray because I didn't know what to say. And then I started to realize the more I would express how grateful I am, the more things I'd say in my prayer, and the more
you have to be grateful for.
yes, and the more my prayer grew.
Because
like,
that's where your mind is focused on the gratitude, not on the outside other things. Love.
Yes, and when I pray with my daughter, when I tuck her in, we pray, and sometimes I'll pray, sometimes she'll pray. I've started realizing the ripple effect that's had on her prayer, because her prayers at first used to be like, "Oh, please, can you do this? Please, can you protect my please?" And then now her prayers are more like who she's grateful for, what she's grateful for. And yeah, man, I think gratitude is right up there, 5+, bro.
Nice.
Acceptance, in terms of accepting who you are, what you are, where you are, why you are, 1 to 5.
5. I think a lot of the times I never wanted to accept, even on stage when you're dying.
Yeah.
You don't want to accept it. You're just like,
Thanks, my name is Jason Goliath.
How
Done that.
how am I dying in front of the CEO of this thing? How am I dying in front of why? That now you want to blame everyone. Yeah, well, this technical person, the mic keeps cutting. Like, accept, Papa. Accept. The sooner you accept your fate, the better. Bro, yesterday I had one of the worst days on set. I think I had a bit of a heat stroke. But I accepted it, bro. I was like, today's just
One of those.
it's one of those days.
Some days
bro.
it's work.
Yeah.
Some
know what
days
I
it's
mean?
work, and that's okay.
But you gotta accept, even when something happens, bro, you're in your M5, some idiot decides he's gonna cut off, hit you. Yes, it's gonna ruin your day, it's gonna ruin everything, but you just gotta accept that happened.
Yeah, you can't change it.
You can't change it, and you're gonna have to fix it. It's gonna be admin, but it happened, bro.
I have a feeling the next one, based on just what you just said, is also going to be a 5, because that's what we speak about when it comes to perspective. And Nicholas always says perception as well, just the way you see it. So Nicholas's famous quote is from that he got from a book was, "Life is 5% what happened."
Sorry.
Life is 5% what happened, 95% how you react.
Mm-hmm.
So from a perspective point of view, 1 to 5, how good have you become at controlling the way you allow yourself to react, what you react to, and the way you allow yourself to see the world. So a lot of people would have gone through yesterday and felt like it's over, this shouldn't be that hard, I'm done. But you don't see it that way. 1 to 5.
Yo, can I be honest with you? I used to be a 1-2 in this one. I used to, because I think what people don't know about us is, in order for us to be great comics, we're great emotional beings. We feel our way through life, right?
Yeah.
Like we feel every emotion. That's why we're able
Deeply.
deeply. That's why we're able to report back on it and make people feel those things. When we're on stage, we're not just making people laugh, we're making them feel things.
That's it.
Right? So I would have been a 1 and 2 because, I used to take everything to heart, bruh. I used to take everything to heart, and I'd let this guy just DJ and
Control
and
everything.
cook me, bruh. Now, I'm definitely a 5. Definitely a 5 now, bruh. Because, man, I think it has a lot to do with accepting where you are, but it's also I don't know if it has to do with age, gents. I don't know if it's an age thing.
Experience, bro. I think it's not age, it's
and
experience.
Yes, it's back in the day, if I missed an opportunity that I thought was meant for me, it would crush me.
Into the
It would-
world.
yeah.
Yeah.
But now I realize that maybe the thing was not meant for me.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not the right time for me. Do you understand? And I think even in my prayers, because when you constantly asking for stuff, you don't realize that sometimes God blocks certain things because it's not meant for you. So now in my prayer, I also thank God for the doors that He closed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
you don't know what that thing would have led you to do,
man.
or who it would have led you to become.
The easiest way to do that is something that you said earlier. It's not to just be in the mindset. It's not enough to just be in the mindset that maybe that wasn't for me. But when you just keep working, when you just keep your head down, and you're not acting like every opportunity is the final opportunity. Because the other gift that age gives you is that there's no one job that's going to change your life forever.
And
so
we used to think that.
And at the moment, so when you have only this one job, your whole hopes are on this one job, and that job goes away, I don't expect anybody to be able to, in that moment, go, it's going to be okay. But when you've got 16 other jobs lining up, the one, doesn't matter how big it is, doesn't feel like the end of the world. So one of the tricks to also, I think, managing your perspective is to work like you have to work. Stop waiting for that proverbial ship to come in, Prince Charming to come and save you on a horse. Stop waiting for one day your problems
social
are all
media
going
is
to be
teaching them
over.
that Prince Charming is
No.
coming.
No one is coming to save you.
Nobody
bro.
Thank
cares.
you.
You have to
That's
save
why.
yourself. And this mentality of this big thing, this opportunity, this door opening and you walking in and your life has changed.
No.
I have to wrestle so many comics with that idea. It's like, okay, guys, you've just shot your Showmax special. Guess what? Tomorrow we at the bicycle.
Yeah.
It was nice. 2,000 people in the audience, ne?
Yeah.
Tomorrow we are 60 people.
We're back.
We're back.
I used to say it to Nick all the time. One of my markers of success, I don't care what you're doing now. If you don't know what you're doing next, you cooked.
Yeah.
If you don't have a next,
Yep.
if you don't have a next, and that you got to work to that point where the momentum knows you've got a next. Because a lot of people get obsessed with that one Showmax special. You get that special out. Now it's done. Now you haven't planned anything for Monday. Now you start afresh. You think your life is made. It's not.
Yeah.
No, but that's an old school mentality where Hollywood was, you could get your big break.
Yeah.
Could get in and your life could change. Now there's too many options. There's too many things.
There's too many options. There's too many things. But just talking on perspective as well. I think what a lot of us also did is we allowed people or the situation or the environment to make us think we were greater than we were.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a perspective I had to wrestle.
But it's also easy because when that 60 people at the bioscope are giving you a standing ovation, you feel like you're world famous. You
Yes.
feel like you've made it.
But the problem with that is you don't realize that you're a normal human being who makes mistakes.
That's it.
On some days you're gonna kill and get a standing ovation. On some days you're gonna die. But collectively, if you add those together, you're great.
Yeah.
Your deaths make you,
Consistency.
your victories make you, everything. You just constantly got to do it. So you can't ever get to a point where a death makes you crawl back into your shell, or
A
killing
kill.
makes you go, I'm the greatest.
Yeah,
They must know me. I've arrived. Arrived where, my dog?
Yeah. They are all part of being great.
Yes, they're all part of being great, bruh. So that's my perspective now. It's just like anything that happens to me now, I realize it's a vital part of my journey, and it was meant to happen. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened.
In the 4 elements, not the 4 elements, the 4 agreements, they talk about not taking things personally, and how whether it be positive or negative, don't take things personally. So that same thing you're saying about.
And I don't.
Yeah.
Not everything is about you.
Not everything
are just
is
doing the
about
things.
you.
We wish we had more time.
We do.
This is
We're
the
gonna
great,
make more time.
The great Mpho
Different
Popps.
outfits, same chance.
The great Mpho Popps.
I'm
Look
wearing
into
the
that
same outfit.
camera and say you're the great Mpho Popps, and people must watch the happiness economy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mpho Popps Modikoane. I'm with the great Jason Goliath and the great Nicholas Goliath. 2 opposite worlds, 1 surname, 1 skin color. Darker than Eric's. My name is Mpho Popps once again, and you are watching the Happiness Economy podcast. It's cool to be happy when you are happy, but sometimes you can't be happy. But happiness is a 4-letter word. Let's love each other. Love is in the absence of happiness, but happiness cannot exist without love. So to love someone, you have to be happy. I'm just happy to be here. Can you tell?
And we love you, Mpho Popps.